What's going on? High energy, high
Welcome
octane
in.
Garden Report situation. John Zannis, Jimmy Toscano. We have
What up?
Bobby Manning and Fox News' Josue Pavon reporting from the Garden a little bit later.
Yeah, he
Um,
got snagged at the game today. Is that what I saw?
he did, he did indeed. Um, so
Good for him.
Josue television personality Josue Pavon representing CLNS Media on the local news. You know you've made it big when you are on the local news, Jimmy.
We'll be lucky to get him on tonight.
I know, seriously, he's big time in it. He's got to do the circuit first before he gets here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he gonna
um,
start charging us more now to do appearances?
maybe,
No, he deserves it. Good for him.
maybe.
I don't
Um,
know if what he said. Hopefully, he didn't sound completely wrong in whatever he said pregame.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure he didn't. I'm sure he nailed it.
I am sure he nailed it. So this was one of those like needed games for the Celtics, so we're pretty psyched to get
Dude,
one
there's
of
like
these.
10 people in our video
I
right
know,
now.
I know, I know. They'll get here.
What's going on?
I think it's a metrics issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Whatever that means.
I think it's a bad count.
Oh, okay. So there's more people than what it's
Yeah,
telling us.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't have a problem with it. If it's just 10 of us, it's just 10 of us. We'll just be an
yeah. Well,
intimate
let's
show.
freaking. It's gonna be a party.
Yeah,
If that's
for
how it's
sure.
gonna go, you know
Oh, somebody says we have a listing issue.
what?
Video is unlisted. They have to
That
get it
can't.
through Twitter.
That can't. Oh my god.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Now what? Now what? Now what do we do, John? Look what you did.
I made it public.
Look what
What
you
do we
did, you
do?
little jerk.
All right, it's
We have to
public.
close. Do we have to close out the stream and start a new one?
No, it was unlisted and it's public now. So we will see what happened. Um, uh, we will wait. We will wait. We will wait. It is our mistake.
I
Uh,
can't wait. Let's just get into it.
no,
We'll just repeat ourselves. I'm too excited.
no. I'm waiting. Let's talk. Let's talk. You know what? Instead,
You want to
let's.
talk about the last
I want.
episode of The
No,
Last
I
of
want.
Us?
I want to literally meet every single person in the chat right now because it's a small number, and we'll meet them.
What's up, Blorp and
Let's
T8?
let's hear from Blorp. We have a listing issue. That's true. Aiden, yeah. What's up, man? Get it through Twitter. Thank you for the
Tate.
heads up.
I think it's supposed to be Tate, not T8. People will fill
Um,
in. I can see it now. I like this guy or girl's attitude. Tate.
if you list it, they will come.
If you list it, they will come.
I'm Blorp. My name was almost Blorp, but believe it or not.
What's up, Liam? It's good, dude. He's
Yeah,
got a couple dogs with him. Shout out to the
Blorp,
to the pups.
Blorp was in play. Um, sorry
Claude, Claude,
for those of you just finding us.
maybe a
Sorry,
Canadian.
sorry. The show
Sorry.
was unlisted. Sorry, sorry.
We want everyone to know that we haven't gotten into the nuts and bolts of this one yet.
No, we're literally just
I'm not
riffing.
sure we ever will, but we definitely
No,
haven't yet.
I'll tell you what we'll talk about. We know where we're gonna go.
We have
We're
the
gonna.
agenda.
Well, our agenda's gonna be a little bit of you needed this game for a lot of reasons. And like a cakewalk game, and
Mm-hmm.
one where you didn't have to play the starters heavy minutes. That was nice. How many times do you see the starters sit in the fourth quarter and not have to come back in?
Never in my life.
Never. Needed that. You needed a cruise control win. One of those we're better than you wins.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm ready to start JD Davidson at point guard.
Yeah.
After what I saw, I've seen enough.
Yeah.
You needed one of those. You're right. I mean, this was. I mean, we've been going back and forth on load management, and Jason Tatum didn't play on Monday. I'll tell you what, he looked damn good tonight after a couple days off.
We did.
Damn good.
So
So
who's
the
in
jury
favor
is
of
out.
who's in favor of load management now,
Right.
Jimmy?
The jury's still out on it. I've never not been in favor of it
I'm
when
adding
it
to that.
when
I'm
it
adding that
makes
to the
sense.
agenda. We'll circle back to it. I'm adding it to the
Okay,
agenda.
fine.
Okay. Is load management a thing?
Is load management a good thing or a bad thing?
I will tell you we talked about it here, so you know my opinion, I know yours, but the viewers don't. So we'll go back and forth a little bit later on. We don't
My
want to
opinion's
spoil it on.
boring, but
Yeah.
yeah. But
Uh,
okay. Yeah, we won't
we'll
spoil
talk about it later.
spoil it.
We're going to talk about Grant. It's really interesting actually because I uh,
Oh,
I was shocked Joe did what he did.
what did Joe do? Thank you, Catherine.
Catherine,
We love you. We love you,
Catherine,
Canada.
I think so. Catherine, I think you give me a hard time sometimes, but I like it, and that's cool. That's fine. I'll take it.
I like it
Um,
too. So keep
yeah,
doing that.
keep doing it. Keep me honest. Jimmy likes it when other people get at me.
Yeah, it can't just be me.
Even though he came to my defense when someone called me an alcoholic on Twitter.
That guy won't stop. He keeps filling up my mentions. I said one thing. I was like, dude, enough.
Oh man,
Clown world. But
clown time.
what can you do?
Um, so
So he doesn't come for that guy. He doesn't come to watch you, and he doesn't
we
come to watch
apologize,
me.
guys. We know you had to search for it. We apologize. Um, we had a technical issue. We are, as we say now, we're stalling. We're spinning our wheels.
We didn't have
Um,
a technical issue. You screwed us. Next.
me?
Yeah.
I don't look, man. I'm not kicking this down the road. But anyway, I'm not. I don't do that.
Just take
Okay.
the blame.
I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm not
Just take
dogging
the blame.
anybody. We had an issue.
We had an
It
issue.
happens. Life goes on. We're here. Eventually, all of you guys will be here too.
People are filtering in.
We
Actually.
apologize for those of you who didn't get the link and are just getting in now. Sorry about that, but we're here. And as who was our guy? JD. JD said people will come.
It was
Blorp,
Tate.
Blorp has been here from the get go.
We actually this is unfortunate because we gave $1,000 to the first 10 people in the show tonight, and it just so happened to be the show that nobody got the link to.
Okay, it's just me and my water bottle tonight.
Are you trolling the chat with that?
Yeah, somebody wants it. Somebody wants my ketchup bottle. Here's what else you can do. Look,
What's up,
no straw.
Spectre?
No straw. Or is there? It's in there. Oh my
What's
god.
it? Just like a suction cup type?
It's
deal?
a straw going down, but not a straw sticking up.
I see.
Are you kidding me?
The straw is the exact size of the cup.
Legit the best water bottle on the market right now. People are trolling it. In 2 months, everyone will have one and be like, well, whatever.
I have
Stupid.
I have
Stupid.
a
Blorp
water
doesn't
bottle.
like it either. Shit.
Yeah, it's really not.
Blorp, we know it's not new technology. It's just a good water bottle. Again, trust me. When it makes it to whatever, small burg of the universe that you live in,
What does
20
this
years
mean?
later, I'm sure you guys will be like, oh, look at these. They're new. But we'll get there. Anyway.
Some guy somewhere, I think he's criticizing my voice. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he is. Shout out that guy. Some guy. Somewhere. Why would you buy that color? That's a great question. Why did you go with it? Might be a functional cup, John.
So let me tell you
but that's
why.
an interesting
I will
choice
tell you
in
why.
color. So you don't lose it or something?
My favorite color.
So you
is
can
al-
like use it as a traffic cone?
My favorite color is orange. Okay? It
That
is.
would make sense then.
My daughter has an orange one, so I couldn't also get an orange one because then we would confuse it.
But that's orange.
So, it's red. It's my ketchup bottle.
It looks orange right now.
Orange.
Anyways.
Plus, I like things that are strange colors or distinct colors, my phone, so I don't misplace it, lose it. I see it like, oh, that's mine right there. That's my phone. So you do it, and that's it. Anyway, we are off.
Pin this.
What?
I didn't mean to pin this.
I unpinned it, goofball.
I meant to post it though. But anyways, moving on.
Okay, so let's get into the game. We got enough people here, not quite as many as I was hoping, but we did start slow with an unlisted show, and here we are. We're rolling with it. That is some good water bottle talk. We get that out of the way early. We'll get into the game right now. Let's get into it. There's really nothing to talk about in the game. A good team beat a worse team, and great. Ho-hum game. You want 50 of these, right? Not really, but I mean, you want to have a ton of these, Jimmy. I feel like they haven't had enough. These are great. You should just be able to show up to work some days and just be I'm better than you, and we're just going to have a lead, and then we're going to hold a lead, and then my starters aren't going to play in the fourth, and we're done. Great. Didn't you miss those? Those are great.
I did miss those. They remind me of last season for a bit, which was nice because
They're great.
it's been a while since I felt that way.
They're
But they're
great.
great. I'm sure the starters appreciate it. The fans appreciate it. A couple of them can file it early and beat the traffic, and the ones who are the real diehards can maybe experience a little Geno that they haven't had in a while. So this is a good rebound win. You know, they needed it. I mean, it's been pretty painful the last week. You're about to go on a big road trip here out west, and you kind of want to go send off on the right note. So I think we all needed to see something like this. Now it's not like the Blazers are this, title contending team or anything like that, but the Celtics beat them the way they should beat them, and they didn't let them climb back. They didn't give them any semblance of hope like we've seen the last couple of games against the Knicks, against the Nets. Like they couldn't put these guys away in the second half. So tonight was a completely different story. If you're a Blazers fan, I feel really, really bad for you because I don't see much of a future with that current roster, and your superstar has hung around about as long as he possibly can. It reminds me of Kevin Garnett a little bit in Minnesota, but all that to the side, big win tonight for the Celtics. I mean, it's a win. A win's a win. It was a big win because of the circumstances surrounding it. Some interesting things that came out of it that we'll get into, but overall, is it a memorable one? Is it one we're going to be like watching, a couple years from now? No. But they needed it. Jason Tatum had an awesome game after a couple of days off. I think that's huge. Need to get him going. Need to get his shot falling, and it fell tonight. He had some really nice superstar-looking shots and a couple nice moves to the basket as well. So I was happy with his performance.
Yes. I'm going to let Judah say it because I don't want to say it. But yeah, Tatum took some of those.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Tatum took a few of those Tatum threes tonight. They went in. When they go in, everyone's like, "Oh, he's Tatuming tonight." The problem is like to be Tatuming, those have to go in most of the time, not 1 out of 5 games. But when they do go in, it's that Tatum vibe, right? Of him just like everyone remembers like that kind of, that post bubble sort of friggin' whatever ungodly Tatuming that went on, or pre-bubble, whatever that was. You did have that. You had that stretch where he was just friggin' flipping it up from everywhere, and it was going in. And I do think people have kind of like settled into that being Tatum, and that Tatum hasn't really been around consistently for the last 2 years, but he still went to the basket a few times, creative finishes, getting really good at that left there. I thought that was really good. And then, he knocked down a couple of those Tatum threes as well. I mean, just an easy 30 for him. That was really nice. He was dominant, had a good, and again, looked spry, looked energetic. As we mentioned, the load management thing. And again, I don't want to go there yet. I'm very, very in favor of it.
You just went there. You can't say you're not going to go there and then go there.
And I know that Jimmy has a terrible take on it, but we're not going to talk about it.
I don't have a terrible take.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have a very rational take.
Oh, shut up, John.
Very rational take, if I do say so myself. But we'll get into it later. We'll get into it.
We're Jimmy Johning it right now. Water bottles and blindfolds. That's what we're talking. We're talking. You know what we're talking about? Put that over your mouth instead, Jimmy. That's what they do.
You know what
That's
this
what
is?
The kids do.
This is a gaiter. This goes on your neck.
You tape your mouth shut and you get a good night's sleep, and that's what you do.
Oh, I heard about that. Is that what Joe Mazzulla does? Right? I saw that today.
Yeah.
Strange character, that guy.
Strange guy.
Whatever works. Different strokes for different folks.
You know what else is strange is like
I'm actually I'm a mask guy. I'll go to sleep with an eye mask on every night. I don't do the mouth thing, but I do the eye thing. If you don't have a sleep mask, you're missing out on like 2 solid extra hours of sleep.
I tape everything shut, literally, like it's all closed up. Earmuffs, eye mask, nose strip.
Except your mouth, I bet.
Not the mouth.
You got the tape that goes over your nose so you can.
I do the nose
better?
tape. Yeah, I do the breathe rights.
Earplugs?
No, never.
Really?
I don't do anything.
Oh,
The sleep mask could be good, I think.
My buddy's an earplugs guy. Sleep mask is so good, dude. If you want, I can run down and get it and show everybody.
No.
I'll do it later. I'll do it next show. I actually have 2 different sleep masks. One is silk, and one is I don't even know what type of material. It's probably got some silk in it. One's like a little more heavy duty, but I'm telling you, you put that sleep mask on, and you can't get distracted. You can't look at your phone. You can't look around the room or whatever. You're just in the zone.
People are in on Joe already.
You fall asleep, and that's it.
He's like he's a psycho. I'll tell you what's so funny is what the length that people will go to defend people on Twitter. I was teasing Joe, and I have somebody coming at me on Twitter like it's totally normal. I'm like, I don't know that it's totally normal. I know that it's quack science and it's a TikTok
You
fad
tape your mouth.
that some people did it. Yeah, it's
What's
but
it supposed to do?
it's the idea you're not supposed to breathe through your mouth. It's much healthier to breathe through your nose. It's supposed to, for some people, stop snoring, but it also can like kill you if you have sleep apnea. So like, it's not like what doctors tell you to do if you have sleep apnea or anything. But it's it's everyone's like, oh shit, wow, that's something. So now you've got people selling mouth tape on Amazon and shit.
So when people call me a mouth breather, that's not a compliment. People have been calling me that for
No.
my whole life.
It's not cool.
No, I'm just kidding. They haven't been.
It's also like when you're sucking wind through your mouth, like you're breathing
Yeah.
heavy, you're breathing through your mouth. That means you're not getting good breath.
Well, when you're exercising, you want to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So there is some level of mouth breathing that you do want to do. It just depends on the situation. Sure, at night, yeah. But a lot of people have issues breathing through their nose. They have deviated septums or sleep apnea. So I mean, I got people. I know people that they go to bed with a whole freaking.
Oh, that apparatus.
Probably people on our show. Probably people watching right now. They go to bed
It
with
looks
that,
like you
that
got the
face
tube
thing.
and the friggin' face
Looks
mask.
like you're out of the year 3025, dude.
It's like the alien costume Michael J. Fox wore in
You can't
in
be
Back to the
single,
Future.
and
Yeah.
you can't be single and rock one of those. You just have to not sleep.
Yeah.
You can't be single and do that, or you'll
No,
stay
you
single.
can't. You can't do it.
You gotta
So
get
anyway,
married before you pop one of those bad boys on.
yeah. So we are very much kind of just riffing here. I'm happy to take some questions too, but again, not a ton to talk about again from the game because it was so ho hum. You want to look at a couple of trends? Sure. Celtics went small. Tonight mostly. You got no Muscala until the fourth. You got no Grant. Now, impossible for Grant not to be a story. And again, I'm talking about the stuff that people will defend on Twitter. Like Grant, we all know what happened to Grant last game.
Oof.
And now there's a story that conveniently comes out about the elbow injury that Grant's been nursing, and it's bad, and it really flared up. What do you know? Right before that game where he missed 2 free throws late. Like, how convenient.
Little tennis elbow?
It's just so interesting that he's not on the injury report for that game. He's not on the injury report for this game, but it's really been nagging him and really flared up just before that game where he missed those 2 free throws.
Yeah. I thought something looked a little off with his elbow. I was like, is that muscle inflammation?
So what happens then? He sits for 3 quarters, and I'm like, oh my God. And I got people on Twitter like, dude, he's injured. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's benched. And what happens? Dude comes in the fourth quarter in Geno time in fourth quarter and jacks like 11 threes in 4 minutes. Okay, he's like
he was just
literally
right
nothing wrong with it.
No, so, I'll tell you what. If it wasn't hurting, it's hurting now because he used that thing over the typical usage you would in that amount of time.
This was the long con. You know how Grant in a lot of games,
8 threes in 12 minutes.
You know how Grant in a lot of games, Jimmy, will go down, try to buy a foul, act like he's dead, realize nobody believes it, and then get up and run down the floor. He's like, crap, the grift didn't work. This is what he did in the long game. He set it up for the injury that he supposedly had, which is why he's been faltering lately and missed those free throws. And then he comes out and he's immediately like, I'm okay, look at me, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. I don't believe no offense to wherever that report came from and what I don't even know, but I don't believe that he's like in like enough pain where he might have some level of muscle inflammation. I mean, I don't know I'm sure like 99% of the world does in some capacity, but it's not enough to be playing, garbage time or no time or 5 minutes or missing free throws that you've hit, in your sleep. Shout out eye masks. But it's just, listen, it happens to guys. They go through ebbs and flows, ups and downs, whatever you want to call it. Grant's not a superstar player. He is so when he goes through a slump, it's a lot worse than a superstar going back down to like, regular person level. Grant's a role player, and when he's playing worse than that, he becomes somebody out of the rotation, which is
Yeah.
exactly what he is right now.
And
So
I do agree with
that's
Bobby
where we're
a
at.
little bit. You're right, Jimmy. That's exactly where we're at. I agree with
I
I
mean,
agree.
he might be out of the playoff rotation if he continues it up. I mean, look at who they played. They went eight strong tonight, and that's without Rob in the game. Pritchard wasn't in the game either. I mean, these are guys that theoretically could, in some capacity, play ahead of him too. So there's no guarantee that you'd even see him in the playoffs if things don't change.
Yeah. I
I went
whatever
with Blake, but
whatever. That's the strange thing is you're going with Blake. Um.
he was decent plus minus tonight if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 15. Thank you very much,
Who?
Blake Griffin.
Blake. Blake playing ahead of you. I how where do you have to be in
He can
life?
still contribute. He can still contribute, Blake.
I
He's a
understand, but
different type of contribution.
how far? It's not meant to be Blake shade. How
Well,
far
it
have you?
is.
How far have you fallen that you're clearly behind Blake in the rotation?
No shade meant. You know.
It's bad.
I think Blake plays hard when he's out there. He doesn't try to do too much, right? He's not taking like ill-advised shots. I think he gives a ton of effort and he gives them what he needs and he gets the ball to guys when they need it. So that's what they're pretty much looking for in a role guy coming off the bench. Maybe they feel Grant's trying to do too much and hurting the team because of it, or he's thinking too much and hurting the team because of it. You can say what you want about Blake, but he's been around long enough to know exactly what his role is now. He's been on really good teams. He knows what it takes to, I'm not saying Grant doesn't know what it takes because he was on the team last year, but they signed Blake for a reason. They think he can contribute. He's not just meant to be a guy that gives high fives at the end of the bench. So it's great that they signed him because they have somebody in situations like this where if somebody's not playing up to par, they can slide him in. I'm not saying Blake's going to be playing 20 minutes a game the rest of the season, but he can come in and spell guys who are in a slump or whatever it is. So I mean, I don't expect Blake to take 10 shots a game or 15 shots a game. I mean, that's not who he is anymore, but he can still go out there and just play hard.
Totally. Here's we're talking about Joe's talked post game, but pre game he was being asked about Grant kind of digging his way out of whatever hole he was in. Here it is. This is from Bobby. Bobby sent this to me earlier.
And you said after Monday you got full faith in Grant. What's it going to take to kind of pull him out of this rut he's been in over the last little while here and, get him back to who he was?
Well, just time. He does a good job of self-regulating and does a good job of working through things, and just time.
Just time.
Just time.
He loves him.
Time.
In order for him to get over things overtime, you have to give him some time on the court. And he didn't like.
Right.
Let's talk psychologically.
It's a
okay?
catch-22.
Psychologically here, I don't understand. Like, isn't this like coaching 101? Somebody does something really horrible and they feel really shitty about themselves. It's quickly get back on that horse, forget about it. You're back in there. I got faith in you. What kind of message does that send to friggin' relegate him to fourth quarter garbage time, not play him a single minute, play other guys in front of him who he normally plays ahead of? When I don't believe the injury is the reason he didn't play those first three quarters, because he looked anything but limited or hurt with the 8 threes he jacked in the 12 straight minutes he played in the fourth quarter. He was just simply benched. And okay, maybe you didn't feel like playing him for whatever reason. Don't you have to play him? I don't understand that strategy.
I think he should have played him sooner only because they did have a pretty sizable lead, much sooner than just the
Yeah,
fourth quarter.
getting
But
the
don't
Neesmith
forget,
treatment.
John.
They call
Yeah,
this the Neesmith. Yep.
right. But he wasn't really playing much prior to the missed free throw situation either. It wasn't like he's getting benched for that reason. I don't think that he should like earn more time because he's like, oh, a little like I'm gonna give you a little pat on the head and send you out there, little Grant, because we feel bad for you. No, like I mean, you earn your playing time out there. So I understand what you're saying. You don't want to make the guy feel like he's sitting because he can't be trusted or because he didn't hit the free throws or because he's being punished. I would hope that they've already had that conversation. I mean, it seems like Missoula is relatively close to these guys, and that there's never been an issue, or it doesn't seem like there's been an issue with anybody complaining about playing time, and that's on a team where a lot of better players like Derek White or Brogdon and guys who could be playing more sometimes aren't either. So I would hope that Grant understands that. Do I think he probably could have played sooner in the game? Yeah, I think he could have. But what is he like going to be like Big Baby Davis and start crying about it? I don't think so. He's not playing well enough to get like 30 minutes right now, so I get why he didn't go in and play a ton of minutes. So I'm not super bummed about it.
I don't know what this means.
No, John, it's not for you to understand. Joe just coaches differently. 6 games ago, everyone was, quote unquote, Grant lost his minute, and 2 games later, he's playing 40 minutes.
He played 40 minutes because they had no bigs. He's playing He's playing more because Rob is out. He got benched against Cleveland when they had a full lineup. This isn't complicated. He's clearly losing minutes based off of his playing time. Clearly,
that we can certainly deduce by that.
Yeah,
sure.
We're not. This isn't brain surgery. It's
not even about the free throws. The free throws, sure. I mean, that sucked. I'm sure it would have been great for Grant to hit one, but that's not why he didn't play tonight. It was already playing poorly before that, and he didn't even play that much in that game. He didn't even play that much in the free throw miss game. He still only played 15 minutes or something. So his playing time has definitely gone down. I missed that last comment that you laughed at.
I don't know. It's just cracking me up. I don't really get it. What I do get, I get really excited about HelloFresh, Jimmy. When I get a delivery coming to my door, I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig it. HelloFresh Day is always a good day when the delivery comes.
It is.
And I have one coming, I believe, next Wednesday because that's when they come. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Surprise? I'm not sure what you're going to get.
I went straight vegetarian this time. My wife's trying to eat more veg.
Dude.
I know, Jimmy. Okay, I'm a meat-eating mouth breather, dude. Don't worry.
You wasted your HelloFresh on freaking vegetables. You
No, I love it. Because, like I said,
you can drink that in the morning,
No, Jimmy, it's the wrong. You're thinking of it wrong. I can make a steak. Okay, I don't need HelloFresh to send it to me, but creative vegetarian dishes and things like that that's what's up my alley here. So I dig it. America's #1 meal kit, pre-portioned, kind of.
You're so healthy.
Measured vegetables, proteins, whatever you have, your spices, your ingredients. You have to do very little prep. It's there for you. You assemble it, put it together.
Fresh.
You got this really easy menu card.
Whole Foods.
Organic ingredients. Make yourself a nice deal. You eat a real meal versus kind of like, I made the same boring chicken and vegetables. You're eating like a restaurant style meal at home, and you put it together in 20 minutes. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't pay a lot of money. Take advantage of this deal. HelloFresh. And again, it's a great way, great way to kickstart yourself if you can't get it going in terms of like the type of diet you want to be on. You can customize it to be. That's why people do these things. You get this stuff for a reason. It's America's #1 meal kit for a reason. You can customize it. You know exactly what's coming in. Control it. Have it coming to you. Take advantage of. You want to get in there? You got a word to say?
I want to say one thing. Yeah. Also, don't underestimate how much it kind of sucks sometimes shopping for produce. Because there's other people there and everyone's picking through, like everyone wants like the freshest looking vegetable, right? Whether it's tomato or like the lettuce, so it's like HelloFresh picks it up for you. Everything comes to you fresh. It comes in the like cooling box, so everything's at the right temperature, right?
Yeah.
And it's just easy. You don't have to be like standing there like an idiot, like me sometimes, being like, okay, what vegetable should I buy and what can I make with it?
You know what I like the best, Jimmy? Actually, the thing I dig is, and this is where I get really frustrated. If I make an dish at home and I go and it needs cilantro or parsley or dill or something like that, I buy this
Kale.
you can only buy dill by the bush, okay? And it's this massive thing of it. And then I need like 1 tablespoon of dill. So I take it, chop it up, and then I've got this friggin' thing that wilts in like a day and a half. So you don't get that. If there's a spice or an herb in your dish, you get just the right amount, and that's great. So there's less waste also. That's really good. So again,
I'm not big on dill anyways, but I
I'm
hear
just
you.
saying, you know what I mean, whatever
Yeah,
that
I
is,
hear you.
that kind of thing. HelloFresh.com/garden60. Use that code. You get 60% off of the entire purchase plus free shipping. It's a really good deal.
Dill
Get
Talk.
yourself started. Go get it. Dill Talk. That's the dilly, yo. So go check it out. And if you like it, and if you do it, and if you sign up, we promise we will send you a T-shirt. We'll send it to you. So come get your T-shirt and get your HelloFresh and start thinking about your health today.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on. We need reinforcements. We need the reinforcements.
We do. Yeah, we need Bobby to save us right now with some mindless X's and O's talk about something, pick and roll defense or something.
Yeah. Cass does it. Cass, are you down?
Curry chicken roadie. Am I missing something? What does that mean? What's a roadie?
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 What do you mean? What's a roadie?
What is it?
It's a dish. It's like is that the bread?
For me, dread.
I thought the roadie was like the non-style bread, the Indian bread or whatever.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey, the guy that
unless it's short for rotisserie, but roadie is bread.
The guy that called you an alcoholic, he just tweeted at me again.
I know he's
watching the show.
He's watching.
He's watching the show.
He's watching.
Even though he hates the show and he hates us, he's watching. He hates both of us, but
he hates
watching
you,
the show.
And he thinks I'm a drunk, but he's watching the show.
That's true. He might not hate you.
Yeah. What's
he
a
just
roadie?
Thinks you're drunk.
Roadie.
What is
yeah.
A roadie? Flatbread. Tim says it's a flatbread.
I know it's a flatbread. I said it.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Whatever, dude.
All right, so sleep masks, water bottle, dill,
mouth tape,
roadie, mouth tape. That's it for me. That's it for us tonight, guys.
That's it.
Thank
guys,
you very much.
We'll see you guys later. We'll take a question, honestly, because we'll get Bobby. We want to get
a good point. Yeah.
We want to get
comment
a little insight.
section.
Yeah.
Send us an actual good question.
We will take a good question.
Caribbean food.
Yeah. Joe Mazzulla was asked about something. Joe's getting a little fun and spicy these days.
Shoot, I hit the wrong one. That's not what I wanted to write.
I'm digging Joe now. Joe's got a little fun back and forth situation with the media going these days. So here is what we got. Caribbean food, Kess. No, it's Indian, I think. It doesn't matter. Anyway, here, check this out. This is Joe Mazzulla talking about, I think, maybe it might have been a question about threes. Here you go.
What do you think of kind of the shot profile and just what's kind of the key for you guys in getting those shots? Like what has to go right for that to happen?
I always had a question about, like, when we shoot a lot of threes and miss, everybody asks me questions, but when we shoot a lot of layups and miss, nobody says anything. How many layups we missed today? Like, I don't understand that. Like, just because you're close to the basket doesn't mean it's easier to score. And so, like, we missed a lot of layups, and, you know, we have to do a good job making those. And so I thought our shot profile was really good. I thought on that stretch where we didn't shoot the ball well, we continued to guard. And I thought when we missed layups, we did a decent job of sprinting back in transition. I've always wondered that. Like, no one asks, like, it's 10 layups tonight. How come?
Oh, that's right now. Why are you missing layups?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out.
So, I don't understand the defensive behind the question. What I will say is, Joe,
I actually don't even think he's being defensive. I just think that's his baseline. That's his baseline, like, temperament. I just think that's how he is.
Yeah. I'm being told it's also Caribbean food. Anyway, that's cool. I never heard of that. Regardless,
cool. We're gonna circle back to the roadie.
We're gonna get back to it. People are mad at me because I haven't heard of that. I've heard of the bread. I haven't heard of the Caribbean food.
I didn't hear about it.
So,
I'm uncultured, okay?
Sorry about that. Jeez.
Yeah. So,
The,
anyways, missed
no,
layups. I mean, I think
the way the wording of that is funny. It's not easier to make it close to the basket than afar. Joe, there's about 75, 80 years of empirical evidence that clearly proves
there is
that it's
a lot of
much easier to score close to the basket than far.
Yeah.
We understand the math behind 3 being worth more than 2, but in terms of it being easier, yes,
Field
it's
goal
easier.
percentage.
Second, Joe, the reason people don't ask you about missed layups is though they are typically considered to be good shots. And when you miss them, it's like, ugh, you miss a bunch of bunnies, gimmies, ones you should have made. But
What are you
people
gonna
are
do?
happy that you got shots at the rim. People are not asking about threes because they wonder whether they are not quality shots and too many are being jacked. I'm confused what he's not understanding about the question in this case. He's
I don't
just
get that
saying that.
either.
In fact, I think it was complimentary. Like, what do you think of your shot profile? You guys got a bunch of good looks in the basket, maybe even though they didn't all go in, and started talking about, well, why don't you guys talk about what they talk about? They still shot 50 friggin' threes. So, again, he's getting that question's kind of leading. Like, so Joe, you shot 50 threes. Are you happy? Because you're the one that says you want to shoot more threes. And then he's like, why won't you talk to me about my missed layups? I don't understand it. What does he want to be asked? Like, he wanted more threes. He got more threes. He was asked if he was happy that he got more threes. He said, forget about the shots we took. Why aren't you asking me about the shots we missed? I don't understand what he's doing. I don't get it. But
then if they asked him about all the shots that the rim that they missed, he would have said, so on a night where we actually hit a lot of 3-pointers, you guys want to talk about the shots
it doesn't matter. I liked it because we took a lot of shots. I don't understand what it is.
I don't think you can win.
But he's clearly, whatever's coming in, Joe's friggin', Dikembe right now, and he's just going to swat it back at you. It does not matter.
I mean, when you miss at the rim, it's either a good defensive play, against maybe a big guy, or you just unlucky missed it. You had poor touch around the rim. I mean, there's no sense in breaking it down.
West Indian curried chicken roti. I'm also looking at a Trinidad chicken roti sort of dish. It does kind of like have an Indian sort of affect to it, the way it looks. It looks delicious.
Can we get a picture up so we can at least see what it is here, since we're apparently going to be talking about it for the rest of the show? We might as well get a picture up so that people can visualize. A roti? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah. A roti, R-O-T-I.
You know what? We'll have Kess cook one up for us. Send it to you, John, and then you can do a live taste testing.
I'm loving this. I'm making it.
Is it like a pie?
I don't care. I'm making it. Next time, I'm going to give it a shot. It looks great.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, it'll be my new pie.
I love this guy.
Who? It's not for you. It's not for you to understand.
I don't even know what that's about. Okay. All right. So
it's not for you to understand.
We just got a quick little peek. We just got a quick peek at the roti. They looked like steak tips, kind of.
Okay. Roti.
Anyways.
No, I don't have, dude, Luis. I have no lane. I can make anything. I can make anything.
John's the guy swerving all over the highway.
I have no lane. I'll go there. I'm not saying it's going to be like the best one anyone's ever had, but I'll go there, buddy. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. Anyway,
here we go. Bobby Manning. Al Horford says Grant Williams has been very professional through receiving fewer minutes in recent weeks. Said he's made the most of his opportunities and the team is just focused on getting wins. That's from Bobby.
Yeah. That's from Bobby.
So it looks like Grant's playing time is a topic of conversation tonight.
How can it not be? The other issue that was kind of thrown out in the last day or so was Grant Williams apparently turned down, and I kind of made the Dennis Schroeder joke the other day with him. He turned down the 4 and 50. That was kind of understood and reported. That's roughly where we thought the Celtics were. And the notion was he was at 14 or 15 and they wouldn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned that down. I can't say I fully blame him. I think he could have thought that 4-50 turns into 4-60 at the minimum next year. So why give $10 million away? I definitely, I'm not fully convinced that Grant has pissed all his money away. I do think that if he continues like this, it's going to be extremely difficult for a team to feel good enough to be able to sign him to a deal like this. If he gets back to his old form, and what he was doing at his very best, gets back in the rotation, contributes in the playoffs, gets good minutes, they make a deep run, he's got a shot to get back close to it. Because it really only takes one team to make an offer sheet and to want to do it, or the Celtics to be like, yeah, you're still worth it to us, and they might still think that. But I think Grant is kind of trending towards, at this point, taking whatever the Celtics are willing to offer, like 3-30, and being happy about it. And he could be in that.
No, he's not there yet. He's definitely not there yet.
I said he's trending there. I don't know if he's there yet, but he might be. Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. If you're Grant and you're sitting there watching all these games go by and you're not getting playing time, and you're watching the money slip away because of the fact that you're not getting playing time, maybe you think that you are good enough to contribute and you should be getting playing time. He's saying and doing all the right things right now, but there's 15 games left or whatever there are. If this playing time of, 10 minutes or so continues the rest of the year, there may be a situation where he won't even want to play for the Celtics at that point, because he's going to think, well, they just screwed me out of a ton of money. Not just because of I'm sure he can admit that his playing level hasn't been up to what it was last year, but he probably doesn't believe that he deserves to be benched, essentially. So if he feels like they're taking money out of his pocket so that maybe they can get him at a discount, I don't know. I wouldn't like that. So this is the problem when you have a guy going into a contract year and the roles are a little undefined. It starts to get, does it become personal at some point to that person, to that player?
Yep.
And does it become more about them than the team? I'm not saying that's where Grant's at, but at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself too. I mean, guy who obviously wants to play, he wants to prove that he can be a contributor to a winning team, and whether or not he feels he's worth $20 million a year or $15 million a year or whatever, if he's sitting on the bench, that's going to signal to all these other teams, well, the Celtics team doesn't think he's good enough to contribute, so why would we give him anywhere close to $20 million a year or $15 million a year if he couldn't even get playing time down the stretch? Or, like I said, when they really tighten up the rotation, the playoff rotation, is Grant even going to be in it if he can't turn things around here in the next month?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But his story has yet to be told, right? That's what's so interesting. 15 games left in the regular season or whatever, 16, and the playoffs, it could go completely in another direction. But again, we're in such a weird place. Like, Rob is out and Grant's out of the rotation, and you're heading in the playoffs, and two mainstays aren't currently playing. Right now, your starting point guard is your third best point guard. And I just don't think he looks fully healthy. I think he was gimping all over. He kind of retweaked an ankle like twice tonight. Marcus isn't himself right now. And you hope that he gets there. But there's still a lot of still a lot of figuring out. Muscala plays, then he doesn't play. Then you try Grant, maybe some Hauser, maybe not some Hauser. Pritchard gets some run, then Pritchard gets hurt. So there's still a bit of kind of jerking around.
It's weird.
Here.
I mean, Muscala just played 34 minutes in Cleveland. Maybe it was just, Muscala. I don't know if I said Muscala, Mazzulla. There's a lot of these names are messing with my brain right now.
Yeah.
But he plays 34 minutes in Cleveland, and then he doesn't play at all tonight. Maybe Mazzulla just said, we're just going to drain this guy out because we're going to be playing a lot of Al in the next game. I don't know. But it must be difficult for some of these guys to go from playing, being a huge contributor to zero. If it was consistent, whether it was a lot of minutes or a little bit of minutes, at least they can kind of have an idea of where they're going to be. Again, I don't know if they know ahead of time before the game, like, hey, here's our game plan. You're probably not going to be a part of it tonight, or here's our game plan. You're going to be a huge part of it. I don't know what they're being told before the game, but I would find it difficult to be able to sort of get into any sort of rhythm if one game I'm playing 30 minutes and the next game I'm playing 0. I mean, that's just tough.
Yeah. That is tough. It's again, someone put it, I thought aptly, Jimmy, the Neesmith treatment. That's, it's
for Grant.
It's weird getting jerked around at this point, especially for him because he's used to playing. He does look like a guy is like, I don't think he's sulking or anything at all. He's just kind of like, you see him on the bench, he just looks like a sad lost puppy. He's just like, here I am. It's like I was at the All-Star game hanging out with those guys, and like I go to like the Warriors weddings. Like I'm kind of one of those like I should be playing, right? Like
He's fringe guy. He's fringe guy, man. I don't know if you you
right.
heard of
Everybody's fringe, right?
everybody's got the fringe guy in the crew, where he's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
he wanted
you
he wanted to come.
He wanted to come. Yeah. Is it cool if he comes?
Yeah, right.
Kinda,
How many texts have been sent from somebody to somebody saying, "Is it cool if Grant comes?"
come on. Is it cool if Grant plays tonight? Like a couple minutes. Classic fringe guy, man.
Yeah, fuck it. I guess bring him. Bring him.
Yeah,
I guess.
Grant's coming. Oh,
Bring him.
Grant's coming.
Let's bring
All
him.
right. Yeah, he can
So
come. He's fine. He's fine.
all right, we're
Just
gonna.
tell him not to talk so much.
You don't. Before you have your roadie and before you have your gallons of water in your ketchup bottle, and and before you dice your dill, early in the morning, what are you going to do? You're going to get up and you're going to get your pouch or your whatever of athletic greens.
There you go.
Take a little scoop, put it in a cup of water, and that's how you start your day. And you don't even think about doing anything else. It's your one-stop shopping spot, supplement that keeps you from having to chase a million different pills, vitamin supplements, because it's really all there for you in one scoop of AG1. Takes care of all of your health needs, gut health, immune system recovery, focus, mental clarity, what have you. AG1's got you covered. Widely supported, widely endorsed product. Do your own research, decide whether or
Love
not you're
AG1.
interested. Go check it out. Everybody on the Garden Report is down with AG1. Our guy, Greg Bedard, over on the Patriots side of things, just hit me up the other day and said, I can still get another one, right, using the deal. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that. So he's jumping back in, double dipping on his AG1 subscription so he can keep it going. If anybody who's seen what Greg Bedard looks like and how sexy that guy is, yes,
Hot.
You should, right? So it works and it's good for you and it keeps you focused. And honestly, it kind of keeps you on point. Like it makes you feel good. Like I'm doing this thing. I'm on my program. I've got this thing checked off. I've checked the boxes and I don't have to worry about all of this other stuff. And it's a really good way to kind of jumpstart your day. So look into it. If it's for you, go check it out. Go to athleticgreens.com/garden, free 1-year supply, vitamin D, free travel packs with your first purchase, and go get yourself a t-shirt.
I got a few friends who are on it. AG1 now, and they're all big fans of it.
They're down?
They are, yeah. They love it. Tastes good.
Jimmy
Gets
Toscano,
them in the right mindset.
Yeah, that's the thing I like, the mindset. Jimmy Toscano, brand ambassador. I love it, buddy.
Yep. I stack it, as everybody knows. I stack it with a cold shower, beef organs, and I'm out the door. I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
Okay. 7 a.m., whatever time it is, boom, done. It could be might as well be 2 p.m. when I'm out there on the street.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper than like a coffee that offers you zero nutrition.
$3 a day. It's nothing. It's I mean, compared to, again, like I said, a friggin' bottle of kombucha at Whole Foods is $3.99 minimum. One of those cleanse bottles that you're doing is like $7.99.
Cash grab.
Oh my God! Like a lemon cayenne cleanse, $7.99.
Oh my God!
Skip it.
Stinks.
Skip it.
Yeah.
Skip it. Pointless.
Or your beet juice. Give me a break.
Another promotional note, just to let you know, for those of you who might have missed the start of it because the show was unlisted, or just want to catch up, or you want to hear it again, or you came in late and you want to get it, or anytime you ever miss the show and you're driving to work and you want to catch up what we said, the audio version is always available. It's going to be there for you for your morning commute. That's a guarantee. So if you were up late, couldn't stay up to either watch the game or check out the post-game show, you can always check out the audio version. Of course, you can always watch the YouTube version of it later in the day as well. But if you want to check out that audio version wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, what have you, little code there on the thing. If you want to scan it, boom, takes you right to the page, right to the feed. Garden Report Audio, always your source for post-game commentary. Jimmy, I'm not going to say putting a bow on this one because, again, we didn't have a ton to talk about in this game. Not much to it. We did mention this, so I'll just bring it up before we go. I did think Jason Tatum looked good, and I do think people do benefit from this word that people hate to say, load management. And the question is whether it's as big an issue as it's made out to be by people like the Charles Barkleys of the world, and why it's been pinned on players.
Terrible.
I think. Well, what's weird to me about load management, Jimmy, and I mean, I'll get your take. Let's get your take first. I'll give mine after. But
Or you want me to give my take so you can bury it?
You want me to give mine so you can bury mine? I don't care. I'll go first.
No, I'm not going to bury your.
It's
I'm not
not
going to bury
burying.
anybody's take.
I have a difference. I have an opinion on what I think is going on, but what I do think that's odd, whether or not you and I fully agree or people are on different sides of it, I find it odd how much of it falls on the players, as if like they're saying like, I'm out, coach. I don't think that's what's happening. I think the organizations are making the decision, but the players are being labeled as like lazy, like play, man, you're paid. And the teams are looking at it as protecting commodities for the short and long term. So I don't get the players getting the venom of it. That's what I find bizarre. But anyway, your take.
Well, I think I told you I'm kind of right down the middle on it. I understand load management from the organization's perspective, and that they obviously want their players to be as healthy as they possibly can for the playoff run. I get that. I mean, that's what it's all about, is going deep into the playoffs and being, and being effective. So, and I think Jason Tatum is a perfect example of that tonight. He doesn't go out to Cleveland. He stays back, he gets some rest, and he plays lights out tonight. So you can't tell me that rest didn't have anything to do with that. And I understand how important rest and recovery is. Where I have an issue is when it seems like, and I'm not saying it's the Celtics, but it seems like some organizations do it too often, or they stack players all going out at the same time just because they want to like get it over with. And at that point, it becomes a much less competitive game. I think it's unfair to other teams in the league who maybe are battling for certain playoff positioning and want it to be a fair match going on around the league. So that's kind of where my contention is. And I do think that, I'm not saying players are lazy or whatnot, but I think there are some players that maybe they aren't playing as many games as a season as they should. And there's the whole aspect of when do you do it. So I would be pissed if I paid a lot of money to go to watch my home team player play and he's just out for no reason other than a rest. Now, if it's an injury or a personal matter, that's different. So I think there needs to be some strategy involved in when these players sit. But last point I want to make is that this whole load management thing, and I said this to you, John, it's just treating the symptom. It's not doing anything for what the bigger issue is here, is that where it seems like these players are breaking down a lot sooner than they really should in some cases. And they should, and it's not to say that they're not in good shape. It's just that wear and tear in their bodies for whatever reason, when they enter the league or when they're in the league, it seems to be that these guys are getting banged up more often or sooner than in years past. So I don't know what the solution is. I know that, there was an article Baxter Holmes and ESPN wrote, and I retweeted it last week.
Yeah.
A lot of these issues have to do with the fact that these guys are only playing basketball, and they're playing basketball from like age 10 on, or even younger probably in some cases, AAU, and they're just punishing their bodies at a young age where they get into the league and their bodies aren't ready to take on, or their bodies are breaking down because they haven't done anything else, I guess.
I know, but it's so
They're not
interesting. It's so
They're not
interesting that it's like the players don't need the days off. Why are they doing this? There's no proof that it works.
Well, because people think, they're getting millions and millions and
I
millions.
get
They should
it.
suck it up and play.
But here's my 2 points. What I never hear is the season is too friggin' long. It should be 15 games shorter, and they should stop playing back-to-backs. They're not going to do that because cha-ching. So that's not happening ever. So we're just going to live with it. Oh, well, they used to play it back in the day. I get that too. But whether or not there's scientific evidence that it prevents or it doesn't prevent, who out there doesn't believe a better rested, more rested player, or certainly somebody who has ailments along the way, somebody who's dragging us? How many people said Jason Tatum was friggin' toast in the finals last year? You know what would have made him not toast and might have gotten you a trip and a ring and a banner? Maybe a little load management. Like that. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say so. Again, I put out these polls. Jimmy, you thought they were loaded questions. My main point was on Twitter
They were.
I believe that every fan of a team right now, I think if you asked 100 Celtics fans, is load management a problem? 50 might say yes. Then you ask the same 100 people, are you in favor of Jason Tatum getting a night off every once in a while? The overwhelming majority would say yes. Then you ask them, what do you want to do with Rob Williams? Overwhelming majority would be like, shut him down until the regular season. You ask the same people, hey, any issue with Al Horford sitting back-to-backs? No, man, he's old. You need him. Well, that's load management. And you want it for your team because you want your team to win. So, I don't get it. If it's affecting the fans of the team the most and the fans seem to support it, I'm not sure where the issue is. That's what I'm confused with. I feel the vibe around the Celtics is give Tatum days off. Don't rush Rob back. Jesus, at the beginning of the season, people were saying literally load manage him all the way into the playoffs. And then
I don't think you're hearing it on a local level. I think you're hearing it on a national level. No, but you're hearing it
globally. But there's people here who might think load management is an issue, but when it comes to their team, they actually favor it.
Right.
That's where I'm not confused. That's where I get confused on the issue is I think most people want their stars rested on the hope that recognizing you can lose a game or two here, but it's much more important to be rested for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm confused.
Yeah, it depends on how often, right? But I don't feel like, when people look at the minutes per game between Tatum and Brown, that's when people start to realize, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe we should dial this back a little bit. And yeah, like you said, John, what happened in the NBA Finals? It seemed like they just ran out of gas. But when it's that level, though, I don't think anyone has a problem with it. I think it's more of if you're doing it every other week, I think that's when some fans you'll get backlash out of that. People won't like it. But if you're a true fan, you understand, the end game. I think most people don't have an issue with it, right?
No, the local fans aren't going to care if the reason is to get these guys right for the playoffs. You're hearing the criticism on a national scale.
But it's the local fans that are being portrayed as the victims of I went to the game and Tatum didn't play.
I see what you're saying.
Or you see what I'm saying is people are saying the fans are being cheated and the fans seem to support it for their teams. Now, if you're a shit team and it's I don't know, just give Dame a night off because
that happens.
Who cares? We're not playing for anything. That's a slightly different story. So it's not all
there are levels to it.
It's not all one thing to all another. But Anthony Davis the other day, the Lakers still believe they might go somewhere. Anthony Davis returned from injury. Anthony Davis played one game. Anthony Davis sat out the next game. Anthony Davis was furious that the decision was made to sit out, but the coach was being ultra precautionary because they've seen how much he gets hurt. And then they really want to try to do everything. But what does precaution mean? Precaution doesn't mean I absolutely know by doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get a result. It's I don't want to risk it. That's precautionary. Mm-hmm. And in many cases, some of these are precautionary because they're hedging. I would rather see what happens in this game without them and hope that this rest benefits them. They're making educated guesses as to whether or not they will benefit long-term by doing this. They're not doing it to make the 12-year-old boy who drove 300 miles to see his hero play cry on Instagram and have everybody freak out and be like, look what they did to Timmy. He came with a sign.
Yeah, it was his first game.
All he wanted to see was Dame play.
Well, try again, Timmy. Next time, right?
Yeah. Jeez. Lesson learned, Timmy. Life is hard. Life is effing hard, Timmy.
So they're not doing it to screw poor little Timmy. It's they're making calculations. They're trying to figure out whether or not it works. It's frustrating. It's probably annoying, but honestly, have 3 or 4 of the most entertaining games the Celtics have played this year been played without their stars?
Yes.
Like that was fun.
Yeah, no, it's again, it's on a local level. It's not an issue for me, but I think if you were the fan of, if you're watching on John, I think national TV, like those people are obviously going to have problems with it because they have the games and they want the superstars to play to get ratings. It's always about ratings.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's when it's an issue, right, Jimmy? When the NBA has to step in and say, "Wait, we have to put these."
Because you know what it is,
going to be
Josue?
nationally televised, and there's a lot of ads. You know what I mean? There's a lot of business
Right.
attached to it. Right.
NBA's getting heat from the ESPN execs, the TNT
totally.
execs, and the ABC execs saying, "What the hell is going on? We're paying a lot of money for these TV deals, and your guys aren't showing up for the games." Like, so obviously that's when the NBA is going to have an issue with it. But from a player health perspective, yeah, it makes a ton of sense. The real fix is to take like 10 games off the regular season, spread them out a little bit more, and then guys aren't going to be missing those games because those games aren't going to exist.
Yeah, Bucks game is the
NBA
best game
won't
of the
do that
year,
'cause
even though
want
they
money.
lost without stars. By the way, the Bucks game was the most fun game of the year.
It was the best game by far.
By far.
Sherrod, I texted Sherrod. I was like, "You on the show?" He's like, "No, I'm so pissed. This was the best game."
Bobby wrote about this actually recently.
Yeah,
What's up,
did a
Bob?
piece on Boston Sports Journal about it, and that's how the
Yeah, are you in the
players feel.
locker
I mean,
room? Okay then.
no, I'm in a side room.
No, I don't.
It did look like a yeah.
You like the visitor room.
Yeah, it's like a side visitor's room.
Bobby's like, you guys are gonna like this too, right? No more talking shit now.
They're addressing it, so I'm interested to see if they do put something in there like a games played limit for awards. I don't think the players are crazy about it. I think they feel like teams lead this effort, as John talked about, to have guys sit out, and that's certainly where the Celtics directive has come from when it's happened rarely here. So I don't think anything's going to happen there, but it seems like the league wants to address it. So I wonder where they're going to find something to.
The league needs to address it, Bobby, I think, because the fans, there's enough clamoring from some fans, and you got your own people, not your own people. You got like people going on broadcasts and older NBA types speaking out and kind of speaking it into existence. So now it's like, we'll look into it. Look, they kind of already did this, right? They created a rule where you can't just like sit players out. So what do they have to do? They have to fake dumb injuries to pretend that they're not playing.
You got to report it, yeah.
Nobody wants juking the system, so they'll look at the system and see whether they can tighten it up in some way. But what are you going to do? Give MRIs and have independent doctors determine whether the inflammation is enough to keep a guy out or not? The reality is saying we'll look into it means nothing. It might mean they'll send memos to teams to like, guys, can you make sure like it's really necessary or you really feel it, not just kind of wing it, or like, maybe it would be kind of cool since we are business partners to try and not do it for like the nationally televised games. Like maybe it's a nudge, but at the end of the day, it can't really be policed.
No, for sure. And I think you can put some light limits in there. I don't think they're going to make guys play 70 games for awards, but you might do something like 60, some manageable number that they can reach if they're going to take a handful of games off. And does that solve it? Probably not either. And that's why I don't think there's going to be a ton that happens there. And it stinks if your team's one of those heavy ones like the Clippers. Celtics fans do, and Joe's talked about this, have to feel very fortunate that their guys don't rest much. You have to basically pull them out of the games and leave them home. Keep them off the court.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's basically saying, I'm trying to give this narrative.
Was tonight a rest night for Grant?
No. Come on. That's like I said, we were joking about this earlier. This was analogous to those fake injuries Grant has where he realizes nobody's paying attention. He's like, okay, no one believes I'm hurt, and then gets up and sprints down the court. Somehow a story comes out about him having elbow issues, even though he's not on the injury report. And then he's
weird, huh?
Then he doesn't appear on the injury report tonight, sits for 3 quarters. Maybe it is the injury. Comes in and jacks 300 threes. Okay.
So so true.
That is
So
weird.
true.
He's on the injury
Contract
report.
year vibes. Contract year vibes.
Everybody goes on the injury report.
With minor nicks and bruises. I mean, it's almost like they don't believe him. They're like, to not put him on the injury report and then have it leak out through sources that a thing is like Grant. Someone in Grant's world wants the world to know he's dealing with an injury thing that the Celtics don't even deem important enough to include him on an injury report ever. Like,
couldn't even get the probable label.
Right, he can't even get the probable designation. He did once in February when he had some swelling, I guess. But whatever's been going on now didn't prevent him from playing 44 minutes the other game, or coming out there in the fourth quarter and just literally, just like it was a 3-point contest, he touched the ball and he just fired it. So no, it wasn't an injury, Bobby. But we were talking about this.
No, I was kidding.
Jimmy, we lost you.
He's out of the rotation. Why is that so hard to believe?
I know. Jimmy, how does Joe do this to him after last game when he said, I love him, he'll get right back to it, he'll be fine. And then before the game he tells you he just needs time, and then he friggin' sits his ass on the bench for 3 quarters.
Yeah. He also missed a free throw too, but
what happens there, Bobby?
How does that happen?
Bobby!
I think Hauser's giving them more right now, and
I know that. I'm
don't
saying,
like it.
How do you do that to the guy? If you need him, didn't you need to give him a little bit of a pat on the butt?
They did in the fourth quarter, and
no, that's not. That's an insult.
Yeah, you're right, and I don't know how a guy who's gone through what he's going through right now, especially with the pressure of a contract year. I talked to Blake a little bit about this after the game. How a guy like Grant deals with this, and he says it's just kind of on Grant to internalize it and fight through it and just kind of accept it. Different guys are sacrificing on this team. Derek White, who does have lesser nights, never DMPs, never 15 minutes, 6 minutes like what Grant's going through right now. But what I've heard from everybody across the team is that he's just got to roll with it for the sake of winning. And that's how Grant's talked about it too, but it's easier said than done when you've been a guy who plays 20, 30 minutes. And I don't know if I agree with it still. Like, Hauser was great tonight. I thought this was one of Hauser's best games of the season. Poking balls free in the lane, driving defenders, hitting threes on the move. I thought they ran some great plays for him early, and they need to space out to generate threes and do all the things that they want to do offensively. Hauser might be a better option right now, but I think Grant at his best is still a guy that needs to play every night, and that's what players have told me too. We need him. And Joe has said that too. So keep sitting him, keep playing him 6 minutes, 14 minutes in spots. I don't get it. I don't think it's a conducive way to have him at his best for the end of the year. And if he's hurt, he's hurt. There's not much you can do there. If that's impacting him, making him struggle, I guess that's a reason to play him less.
One of the
you're going to be a worse team without him. I'm going to stand by that.
But I was
one of our
going to say,
commenters called it the Neesmith.
I was going to say, if you can't, like John said, if you can't make the injury report, like, how serious is this thing? I mean, and look, if you look at Grant's numbers, and I know it's not the largest sample size when you look at the month of February, considering the short month and the All-Star break, but it was really bad. Like, his numbers really dropped. He was averaging 6 points barely, nowhere near 40%.
Mid-December.
Nowhere near 40% from behind the arc, like things that really made him valuable last year. So, look, I still don't think this thing is set in stone, but at the moment, he's the odd man out, and this road trip is going to really define where he stands in that role, or in that sense. By the end of it, it's a long trip, and I think he's got a lot to prove.
Yeah, he's
no. Can he come back from this, John?
I actually think so, Bobby.
I think so.
We talking about it earlier. The most interesting thing about Grant is with 15, 16 games, I forget, left in the regular season. I actually don't think his story is okay. Wow. And I don't think his story is told because I think I agree with you, Bobby, in theory. I don't like the other options better. And I think Grant giving them, and I've always thought Grant is slightly overvalued by fans, but there's no doubt he has value, and I don't know that the other guys do. I thought the Grant kind of love was facts, Medill. I thought you guys missed some food stuff. I thought like I said, I always thought that Grant, the myth of Grant was a little bit too much, but he absolutely has value, and he certainly does. I think playing at whatever his best level was, more so than a lot of the other options. So that, Bobby, I agree with you 100%. Like, you're not loving the other dudes, and neither am I necessarily. I think Hauser has a place and a role. I don't think it has to come at Grant's expense. I think Hauser can come in there, and again, you need some sort of wing depth in there from time to time. I think Grant should be coming in probably ahead of Missoula, certainly ahead of Blake freaking Griffin. So I'm confused. Right, Missoula.
I did the same thing.
Muscala. Joe Muscala, and certainly ahead of Blake. So I don't really get what's going on. Could there be some games where Grant's playing?
Hauser's taking minutes, though.
But could Grant go down in 10 to 12? Yeah, sure. Maybe he's floating closer to 18, 20 instead of the 24, 26 he's been averaging. Yeah, definitely. But 0, 6, fourth quarter garbage time, I find that really.
They wouldn't do this to anyone else, John. I mean, who else among their main rotation guys?
I'm going to go out and say it on the record. They hate Grant Williams.
What do you mean? Bobby, what does that mean?
Somebody has to
Grant's
hate him,
a role player. He's
a
role player who's not playing well.
He's a role player.
He was a borderline starter last year.
Significant minutes, Jimmy. That's the thing. Is like it's when they were.
He's a 30-minute a game guy.
It's pretty drastic. He was 27.
He was playing more than he should have because they were undermanned too.
A little,
and he was playing better.
27
but he was
minutes
also
a game
playing
this year and 25 last year. He's down to I mean, it's really low. It's much lower.
No, it is low. But that's because mixing a couple of really, really low games. So he's had some games where they ticked him back up again. So I think he is somewhere around 20 minutes a game this year. I don't agree with benching him for 3 straight quarters and then putting him for garbage time. I think that was a little much. You can't get into a rhythm that way. And then he goes in and he's just putting up as many shots as he possibly can. But you don't want this to turn into a sideshow. You don't want this to turn into like Grant watch every game, and it's like
huge
starting
story
to
right now, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's unfortunately becoming that. The other thing, Bobby, is, and I mentioned this to John earlier, is the whole fact of it being a contract year for him. At what point does he get pissed? I know he's saying and doing all the right things right now, but this is his future that we're talking about.
You guys
here.
are literally taking money out of my pocket right now, and that could be a problem. I don't think he's that guy necessarily.
I don't think he's that guy, but everybody at the end of the day has to be that guy in some way, shape, or form. You have to look out for yourself in some way.
You guys cover the team. Can you see Grant getting kind of being pouty, sad?
I sent you a picture. Didn't you get my picture?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did I get it? Oh, the one that was zoomed out from like 100 miles.
This was it, pretty much.
Bobby, I can't see that.
You had I have my glasses on, just kind of one of these on the bench. He's not been as jovial along the sideline.
He was.
In the past, and
every bench cutaway of him was kind of expressionless, slightly slumped, a little bit down, like not the same guy. Clearly,
and how can you say everything's gonna be fine? He'll come back. We trust him and not play him.
That's
right
what I
after
don't
you
get.
say that.
That's what I don't get.
It's weird, and
Joe's mean.
And he's a meanie. He's looking for something right now, and they're not finding it else. Like Hauser's playing solid. You got to give Hauser credit. He's taking advantage of this opportunity more often than not. But Hauser's also not playing consistent minutes every night. They're going to Muscala. They go to Luka Ton in Cleveland, and you're here to match up them.
Joe doesn't suffer fools. He does not take prisoners. He doesn't F around, man. Grant is in the doghouse.
Grant's only matchup proof, though.
Grant, because of his versatility, should be able to play most places. You do say, obviously some of the taller lineups, you could see why he would struggle there. But it's just strange to see what's happening to him. We don't have a lot of time to go into it. We're going to wrap it up. But Marcus,
want to hear my story before we?
You have stories?
Yeah, we want to hear your story.
Yes, I'd rather hear the story. I don't want to talk any more basketball.
This is gonna be better than Cornet Bakery Boy.
This one's pretty good.
There has to be
too.
Oh, good.
So I was in the Portland locker room before the game, talking to Jeremy Grant about Boeheim's retirement, which is a big story for me today, John. And Justice Winslow is sitting to his left, and I'm coming up to Jeremy, and Justice turns to me. He's like, You look like the inside of an Oreo. Looking at my outfit.
Reese's.
I was like, damn, really? Like, that's how you're going to do me coming in here? And I'm leaving. I'm like, you're going to see a nasty story about you later tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Let's write up his game story.
That's pretty good, Bobby. I don't mind that fit, as the kids call it. That's a solid look. That's a typical look for you with the turtleneck.
Yeah.
You do kind of look like the inside of an Oreo, though. He makes it good. You kind of look like
it's descriptive, it's accurate, and it was funny. I guess when I go in the visitors locker room, that's where I'm going to get my feedback on the outfits. You don't get that in the home locker room.
He's got the Reese's color, the inside of a Reese's. Absolutely.
The inside of a Reese's.
Oh, he said Reese's, not Oreo.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Did I say Oreo?
You said Oreo. Yeah, I was like, nah, man.
I mixed up my candies. Reese's.
Oh, you look like the instead of a Reese's too. Yeah, for sure.
The matching pants and everything.
That's so funny. If you had like a red shirt, you'd look like a hot dog, which would be awesome.
The tie.
In fact, could you do that next game? Can you just wear that suit with a red shirt?
No, I'm not going.
Well, you know what? You got the last laugh, Bobby, because they're going home. They're going home. Bobby, real quick. Speaking of the Blazers, and somebody asked this earlier in the show. We didn't get to it. Thoughts on their future? It's pretty bleak, wouldn't you say? That current or like that state of the organization right now.
It's scary. You look out there and it's just Lillard and Jeremy Grant going to battle, and you're like, what are these other guys doing? Who are some of these other guys? It's a scary situation because they're paying a lot of money for that team. They're stuck in the middle, and they don't want to rebuild. It looks like they traded CJ for Josh Hart, and then Josh Hart's gone. They trade Hart, and he looks great in New York. And they have Thibault. Then I didn't think Thibault did a ton tonight. They just depleted talent-wise. They've lost McCollum. They've lost their old core with Aldridge, and then they go through this other core that looked good, and those guys are gone now too. So I can't think of there's more bleak situations in the NBA, but they're in that middle ground where you can just get stuck. And I don't see them moving off of Lillard. He doesn't want to go. Man, we would have a tough time covering that team. We'd just be like, where's this going? We'd just be like, blow it up every night, and they're not going to. So I don't have a ton to say about them, but that was a bad effort from them. This is a great team to run into, by the way, given the issues that the Celtics have gone through. Just feel good night, blow right through this awful defense, and move on to the West Coast trip.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's where we go. This is the last home game for a little bit, so we got some road games. We got some road games coming up, so we'll have a lot of the gang here. We are back on Saturday. So we will be back then. Keep it with CLNS Media. We might do a special Garden Report on Friday for a special network announcement. We will tell you more about that on the Garden Report on Friday with our special network announcement. Oh my God! Hard tease. That's a tease.
That is a hard tease.
I like it.
Dancing over here.
It's worth it. It will be fun, but we might just kind of have a general discussion about Celtics-related topics on Friday and just kind of say hey and hang out and see what else is going on in the world right now.
I'll be at Hunter's. Sorry, boys.
Jimmy's doing stuff. That's fine. Also, special announcement: Jimmy will be at Hunter's playing music. Anybody want to check it out? Yeah,
that's right.
Maybe we'll go after the show.
Still waiting to see.
We'll do the show from there.
Couple people from the show.
Doubleheader.
Live from
Jimmy,
Hunter's.
let me open up, man.
I'm bringing the kids one of these days. I promise. I'm bringing the kids.
All right, deal.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry for the difficulties in the beginning of the show. Obviously, if that caused you to miss the show, sorry. But you're not here to hear the apology.
Not sorry.
But maybe you'll catch it on a replay. And if you're like, where was this show last night? We own it. We messed up. Sorry about that. It was unlisted to start, so people couldn't find us. I'm glad this many of you did. I'm glad you stuck around for our conversations about mouth tape and roti and red water bottles and dill and Bobby's
eye masks.
Peanut butter.
How did you guys get off the rails?
Because when we opened the show,
honestly, it started off the rails.
when we opened the show,
There were
there
8
was
people.
10 people here, and Jimmy, I was like watching it, and I could barely talk, and Jimmy's like, "Is there like 10 people here?" I was like, "Uh-huh." And I
So
was
we
like,
got to
"Why?"
know him for a minute.
And
Yeah.
so I started meeting him. One of them was named Blorp, and he and I.
Jimmy's like, did we fall off?
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
I was like, it wasn't the best game, but damn.
I think the guy who's friggin' savaging you and me on Twitter did some put a friggin' hex on
Yeah,
us.
he did. He unlisted the video somehow.
And somehow, so it was unlisted, and people told us on Twitter, and we're like, "Oh crap!" So eventually, people creeped in, but that's what happened. And we started off the rails. We never really got fully back on the rails. So I would say there was maybe like 3 minutes of anything relating to basketball talk for the first 20, and then not much more after. Yeah, not that much.
We were hoping you guys were gonna save us a lot sooner than you did. So.
Blorp.
Yeah, Blorp.
We're out of Blorp license plates. All right, cool. So that's it.
You guys have like 4 new inside jokes. Jeez.
Yeah, we do. Did. We have. Speaking of, we got the March Madness bracket should be coming.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to come up with new stuff. I'll ask everybody here in the chats if you can either. It's again, the show is running out here, but we want to put out our March.
Dill might be a low seed or high seed.
Yeah, we might want to put out
16.
Our
16.
Put out. Be going March up against lemon desserts.
I'm trying to solicit feedback.
Right.
I'm asking people for shit.
I'm listening.
No, not you guys, them. If you have any Garden Report isms, tell us. We don't have any, okay? We need them. So send them to us. This show is running out, so we're not going to see them. So DM us, send them to us on Twitter, tag us, whatever you want. We are looking for more suggestions. I'm trying to freshen them up. There'll be some oldies from goodies returning from last year, but we're looking for new Garden Report isms for this year's bracket. See if we can put that together and let you guys vote on it as well. So let's talk about that also. Guys, go ahead. Final thoughts? Facts, my deal.
I have no final thoughts. I hope everybody has a really great Thursday.
Keep that momentum going, Celtics. Carry it on to Atlanta and just be a bully. You know what I mean? Go out with the chip on your shoulder and do what Brogdon was talking about in terms of sweeping this road trip. You know, which is a high accomplishment. But that's what these guys need. They need to aim. They need something to distract them to finish strong. You know, at the end of the season. Without thinking about the playoffs quite yet. They need one more strong run. I think this could be it.
I have a final thought. I want to say shout out to Fox News' Josue Pavon tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you. I was like
Fox 25. Yeah.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah. Fox 25.
We talked a lot about Grant tonight. Underrated outcome of this game. A Smart run into foul trouble early. White taking the minutes, Brogdon taking the minutes, even on a rough night for Brogdon, and those two outplaying Smart here tonight. Joe takes another opportunity with Smart in foul trouble to lessen his minutes compared to the other guards tonight, which we haven't seen him do yet. Smart continues to struggle since the All-Star break. He was a little better tonight, but not great. It looked like he kind of got banged up at one point early, and then the foul trouble, and then it's White Brogdon rolling through the second half. So that's another thing to watch in this road trip. We've talked over and over about the front court minutes. The guard minutes in a bit of a flux too now, and White just continues to play well and rise above the two other guards on this team by a significant margin into the second half.
I mean, there's no doubt, right, at this point?
I mean, he's the best right now by far. He's just killing it. Great passing tonight, scoring 20 consistently, defense excellent, and they defended Lillard well tonight. So you consider all of that as you're heading forward, and it's not going to be easy when Smart's not in foul trouble, as we've seen.
No, it's not. Look, Smart. I mean, Joe has a little conundrum here. If and when Rob gets back healthy, and with Smart being clearly outplayed, he's got some choices to make in terms of what closing lineups, starting lineups, whatever that is. It's not really clear. You know, and guys, thank you. You guys are giving me quite a few.
It might be Josue special uncomfortable conversation coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He might, right. That might have to be a Joe Mazzulla, Marcus Smart, uncomfortable conversation. Want to give Josue a little shout out. There's our guy.
Hey, there he is. Nice.
What happened when you get called on the fly? Like, let's go. All right.
No, you were the number one choice.
It's too bad they didn't get you Sunday It's too bad they didn't get you Sunday when you had the Walt Frazier suit going.
Oh, true. I thought you were gonna say because you jump in or something.
No, you just look sharper.
I love this.
You know what I mean?
Celtics
You
reporters.
still look good though.
CLNS media looking.
CLNS media, you already know.
Always looking good.
I totally put that in there too. Shout out to Butch Stearns. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Butchie.
Yeah, Butch is a good guy.
Butchie's good people. I got great. I'm not even gonna get there, but I got some Butchie stories, but that's fine.
I wanna hear
Another
it.
time.
Off record.
Oh
but-
yeah, not here.
But
Yeah.
we and all of Boston media had an extremely fun and interesting time covering the Red Sox during their great runs, and Butchie was always on board for a lot of that stuff. So
Nice.
I mean, we're talking mid the 2000s run, 04 or 07, stuff like that.
Chicken and beer.
Just fun stuff. No, before that, the
Way
07
before that,
Before that, yeah.
Yeah.
before that. Some
The fun teams.
good days.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good, the good old days. That was some really fun stuff. It's a fun, whatever, covering, the
I was high school.
the entirety
Catching
of
the lag guys,
the entirety of the
okay.
playoffs there during that time. That was
Yeah.
when that stuff mattered as
When
much as it
baseball
did.
mattered.
It was insane. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
Cowboy,
Thanks, you guys,
yeah.
for watching. Yeah, thank you
Cowboy,
for sticking with us. Thank you for some of your suggestions. Send us more of them. We will see you guys on Friday. Actually, special announcement. Make sure to tune in. Follow all of us on Twitter for notifications. We'll tell you.